You're listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. I am your host, Al Mega, CEO of Comic Crusaders and Undercover Capes. In this show, I'm sitting down with creators from all walks of life to talk about inspiration, process, the lessons they've learned, and a whole lot more. Yo, what's good, Comic Crusaders familia? Wepa, you already know what time it is, baby. Another high voltage episode where we don't just talk comics. We talk the future of comics, you heard? And today, I have a return guest. I mean, last time you saw him was episode 471. Now, for those that want to be inquisitive, go ahead, go check who it was before I announce it, right? And now he's back with something that's about to make creators everywhere say, wait, why didn't this exist already? Oh, snap, that's right. Because we're talking about the Internet Comics Database, ICDb, a platform and app designed to do for comics what IMDb has done for movies. Creators get visibility, publishers get structure, and the industry finally gets a digital home that actually makes sense, you heard? So if you're an indie creator, a pro, or even someone dreaming of breaking in, this episode is required listening. So tune in as we talk to the big boss himself, the creator extraordinaire, and now big boss over here, ICDb, Max Hoven. What how you doing?
What's up?
Brother, man, you have been doing some things since the last time we chatted. Huh? Last time we were on, we were talking comic books. And now you coming over here talking, wait a minute, Al, I'm bringing you some comic book business.
Exactly.
So, bro, man, for real, let's get into this. Like, I want to call this the elevator pitch from the multiverse. You heard?
Okay.
ICDb in one breath. What problem were you fed up with that made you build this? He said in more than one breath. He goes.
To give you the short version, it's like there is no real legitimate hub for professional comic creators outside of their own personal network. So everything's like separated into different groups. You know, certain high-level comic creators basically stick to their own group with their own, you know, chats and whatever. And
it's clicky like high school.
Yeah, it's very clicky, and everybody's sort of, you know, if you're in one clique, it's sort of hard to break away and go into another one. And for anybody that's outside of all the cliques, you don't even know where to begin to try to join.
For the goth kids.
So yeah, you're just like, you don't even know that there's a cafeteria with lunch tables, much less, you know, trying to figure out how to get it at a certain one.
I feel you, man. It's painful. Absolutely.
And then I think the key thing there is like, once you're in a community, there's no real easy way to actually collaborate and showcase anything you've done in a professional manner. There's a lot of different tools that do kind of every individual aspect you need for comics. And I think another big thing that's happened recently is you just watch so much fail. Even the stuff we thought was like established over the years.
Yeah.
And everybody's had their beefs with everything from diamond distribution to, you know, every other facet. But to actually watch all of them sort of crumble, and not all of them, but
there's issues, and there's, you know, I mean, listen, comic books had a good year. I mean, specifically DC, apparently. 2025, and, you know, but comics did pretty well, and, like, you know, kids are reading again, but, you know, people are getting back into the physical media. Thank goodness. I think that's important.
Comics are not dying. Yeah, people.
Yeah, exactly.
That's not true.
I absolutely despise when people say that, because that is, you know, an absolute myth. I don't believe that, you know, at all. And again, comics are maybe we'll get fewer comics, maybe the way we consume them will be a little bit differently as time progresses. But I still hoping that kids, like nowadays, are latching onto that physical media, create those wonderful books that become a part. I'm not to hate on digital, but it's nice to smell the ink sometimes. You feel me?
For
Now,
sure.
I want to know something from you, like, because again, here you are, like, really want to do something for comics, and I appreciate that journey, brother. I mean, that's kind of awesome of you. Was there kind of a moment that you said, all right, that's it. I'm doing this. I'm done. Okay, I gotta do this right now. Fuck that. What?
Yes, sort of. Yeah. I mean, the a big for me, I mean, last year with Diamond Distribution going bankrupt, I basically didn't get paid for the comics that I
Oh,
had released. And so all
oh.
of a sudden, and then I watched
I'm
also
sorry you had to go through that. So many creators got fucking oof
yeah, I mean,
slammed.
aside from as a creator, obviously you rely on income from selling the comic book. But then like when your publisher also doesn't get paid. So like when every facet in the chain is sort of hung up and that sort of forced me to try to figure out like the even more behind the scenes of the business models of how everything works and how can we offset and like avoid a complete loss for an entire 6 months or more. And that's just like in one window because like for me the production of a comic book took years and then the
Yeah,
actual sales and then is only a small window and like the launch of those is just like 1 week and so really it's like 3 years is all boiled down to what happened on like 3 weeks throughout the course of six
yeah,
months and if and then after that it's like if those 3 weeks didn't matter it's kind of like you either don't get paid at all or don't get paid very much and I just was like trying to figure out every step like how can we make like everything matter to where it is important and along the lines you just learn how things work for people on the back end of things. And in
right.
doing that, I started to just realize what all their struggles were. So, like from the publisher's perspective, the distributor's perspective, the printer's perspective, like what does everybody actually need? Like the obvious answer is, well, we need more sales.
Yep.
But aside from that, it's like in reality, what results in sales is like popular IP. Like everything just boils
Yes,
down
yes,
to the hits. Like the hits run the industry.
yeah,
It's kind of like,
exactly. You're
and
right.
so I don't know. Yeah, so I was just like boiling down. Well, what is it that actually makes a hit? How do you determine it? How do you find it? Um, and in doing that, it's like, okay, well, if the publishers know what they're looking for, why don't the creators know this? Like, and me as a creator, I didn't know what it was that like actually sold comic books or what publishers were actually looking for. And I think part of it is sort of like a gatekeeping thing. Like they don't, it's supposed to sort of be hard to figure this out, or not that it's supposed to be hard. It's just that they expect you to put in the time and work it takes to learn these things yourself. And if you've done that, then they sort of deem you worthy to basically then take a risk on you. They're not going to just tell you every step by step, like what you need to do, I think. But I still feel like whenever I was getting into it, it's like, well, if somebody would have just told me that like certain genres just are, you know, not really sellable or a certain,
Yeah,
a stylization of the artwork and that you should avoid sort of
but
certain,
again, you learn through failure sometimes,
yeah,
which
yeah,
is okay. And sometimes you gotta learn for yourself because maybe what you thought would have been a hit, maybe all right. So this don't work now. Let me take those steps to go ahead and learn. I mean, failure is okay. It happens. Shit happens. You know what I mean? We
yeah,
think
yeah.
all
You
of our
have to
ideas are
feel
the
through it
best.
for sure.
Yeah, and it's okay. I think it's all right. Fuck, it's okay to fail, but just don't let failure stop you. That's the key.
Exactly.
That's the most important part. Like right now with comics IMDb, that really is the bow swing with what you're attempting here, right? So,
It's pretty big. What I'm trying to do is sort of a big stretch. So yeah,
yeah.
I have a
So
lot
what?
of shoes to fill.
So what do you feel ICDB will in fact possibly do better than an IMDb style system?
This because comics is smaller in a general sense than like the film and entertainment industry, I can make it tailored specifically for exactly almost not just a general audience, but almost directly for the biggest players in the space. Like I've been building this based upon the feedback of the publishers and the comic creators that are very active in this world. It's like kind of a small community when you're actually in it. You know, we obviously, you know, with film, you it's sort of the same where you're like, well, there's 6 studios that matter, but of those studios, there's probably 12 sub studios, and just below that, there's thousands of independent creators and streamers and
Yeah.
publishers and stuff. With comics, it's kind of like there's the big two, and then there's like 10 to 20 kind of below that, and then there's like maybe 50 like small press publishers and kind of like web thing and
Yeah,
like
well, I liked how Diamond broke it down. There's the big two, there's
yeah,
Premiere, there's Deluxe, and then there's Indie. So that,
yeah.
you know, the 4 tiers, you know?
And if you spend, you know, like level it out, you spend 2 hours of research, then 2 days of research and 2 weeks of research, you can pretty much like hit the whole industry and figure out what does each one do and what all, you know, and that's what I've been doing. So that's
That's
kind of
true.
where it tailored specifically for everyone that's involved in the industry of trying to figure out what is it that they're looking for from creators. And then for creators, it's like, what do you actually need to basically find collaborators, trust artists? What do you need to do to actually find work? And if you're someone that's hiring, like, what do you need to do? What kind of verification from the creator do you
And
need?
protection,
You
yeah,
want
you
to know
need
how
some
much they
protection.
cost.
You know, I mean, yeah, not just how much they cost, but you need protections. I've heard so many horror stories. You know, unfortunately, people run off with bread. Hey, I only received half a page. You know, and then
Yeah,
they ain't getting it.
yeah, it's
You know,
so common. I mean, you see it all over the
it's
internet, and
sad.
it's everybody in this industry has had somebody that ghosted them after you paid them or something like that. And that's even people that aren't nobodies. And a lot of people, if you just try to just you don't go directly to a reputable artist at all. If you just kind of go to the uh, Facebook groups or something like that, or try Fiverr or something, it's easy to get burned. You might actually not get like completely ghosted, but just find out that the artist's sample work is not actually theirs, or it's AI, or
Oh
that
yeah,
they
but
did do it, but it's like they only can do character designs. They can't actually do sequential art.
yeah.
You need
Sadly, AI is getting better and almost undetectable. You know, it's getting crazier by the day. And but you know, let's see. I mean, you know, there's now new kind of accusations out there for a certain artist that has the book where somebody went to a shop. Like this whole book, it looks like it's made by AI, but they claim, you know, the creator claims it's not. I mean, hey, you know, I don't want to blow spots up here, but it's definitely a cover artist that's very popular. I'll leave it at that.
yeah, and
But
it is sad that like some artists, their real work does get said to be AI, even though it really is their real work. But yeah, I don't know. That's just this is the price we're paying for the changing of the industry. I'm not exactly sure how to fix that, but at least part of what I'm doing is like a way of vetting who's real and who's good,
yes,
based
absolutely.
upon different metrics, not just like cover sample art, but it's like you can show every specific sample pages for everything you've ever done in comics. It's almost like just like IMDb, to where like if you go to someone's profile, you see every credit they've ever done. So every movie they
Okay.
were in and every
Yeah.
role they had. It's the same with ICDb. Every
So
comic
it's a database. It's a hell of a database, you
yeah.
know. So it's either publisher or creator, correct? I mean, what type of different formats we have in this baby over here?
Um, it's kind
Like
of like
just search features, if you will.
the features. So basically, no matter who you are, it's like free. There's a base tier that's free, and you can do almost anything that you would ever
Okay.
want, except for store more than like if you actually there basically the basic thing that you're doing is creating the portfolio and like a comic book resume, just like IMDb. So it's like
Okay.
you're creating credits for everything you've done along with sample pages and saying your role in that, and you can add other people as creators. And so that you are attached. So like if you did cover art for a book that's well known, like you can add yourself and get that credit. Like I was the letterer on this book, just like IMDb, to where you're basically creating a very standardized professional resume in comics. And then if someone clicks that profile and they want to see, well, what are the sample pages that you actually did, you can add those. So every credit is like, what did I do on that? And you can add like a good large amount of samples. And the only thing that's like sort of even more advanced, but it's still free, is what we call project management, which is like if you actually are finding other creators and you want to actually collaborate with them, you can save all the data for the comic you guys are collectively creating in the app. So the same way that people use shared Google Drives or Mega or Dropbox to share files, we make it pre-organized to everything you need, from its like the cover pages, variant covers, the marketing solicitation info, to the sketches, character design is all pre-organized. And then you can upload things to those files and then add collaborators and share it. And the big kicker is like when you're done, the big thing we're doing is it's basically like the portfolio and then collaboration and then post-production, like actually submitting to publishers or like putting your pitch out there to where editors and sort of the gatekeepers of this community can see it. And like, because most of the time the hard part is like, how do you get discovered by a publisher that doesn't accept submissions, but you know that they're looking for comics? We make it easy for them to find you, and you basically just list a pitch and like they can then look at anybody that you know, it's all on an individual basis. So when you sign up, you say my main role is I'm an illustrator or a writer, or you can say you're a publisher or an editor or a marketeer or publicist or whatever you are in the industry. It's not just for artists or writers, but and so
everybody that has a role. Wonderful.
Everybody that has a role, you can create a profile, and then based upon sort of your designation, we pre-organize what is it that you're looking for and trying to do on the app. So if you're the one that's actually trying to hire people, if you're the one that's looking for work, if you're the one that's looking for completed IP, that's the biggest thing that's like kind of happening right now is the people on the back end, what they're looking for is like basically IP to acquire or like license the rights to something that's done. And what on the creator end, they're sort of trying to do something before it's done, so like they don't necessarily. So we've made it to where like you can sort of create a package pitch for completed IP that someone might be looking for without it being fully complete, to where like you can sort of meet in the middle. And it's all through sort of a pre-organized, complicated thing of like, if you've been in this industry long enough, you can sort of know the specific metrics of what you need to, like exact dimensions of what someone might be looking for, from a printer to a distributor. They give you like specs of like, here's how we send it to the printer. And if you don't know that, you might go about making your thing all wrong or spend too much time doing it the wrong way.
It's almost like a wiki mix with an IMDb too. Here's some info too. This is what you need to do on top of it. I love that. Yeah, make it instructional, make it easy. Because again, listen, man, the easier you make it, or not, or at least feed people the information, because that's what people lack, right? Information sometimes.
Yeah.
So thank you, Max, for working on making a home for information to help creators out there. Because again, listen, man, the indie game is so hard, but yet so full of talent, man, that have yet to be found. And it breaks my heart sometimes. I've spoken with so many talented people. I'm like, wow, you're still not in this game? And I've seen others that have had a chance to rise. I'm like, wow, you're doing this now? That's crazy, So again, it is what it is in the game, man. You guys got to keep hustling. You feel me? Now, so basically what you're saying is this is data without the dread, right? So creators, hear data and sometimes they panic. So, how do you keep it useful and not scary? Creators, man, they're afraid of new tech sometimes.
As soon as you join, you're basically told what to do, or it's kind of like it in the same way whenever it's like a tutorial in a game. So like when you join a game, the first level is sort of like a fake level. That's basically like showing you how to jump, showing you the controls. I do the same thing where it's like as soon as you join, I basically guide you through each step to where it's just like, here's how you make your profile, and here's like how you can how it then actually becomes useful.
Okay.
I'll get back to you.
Hello. When you see, this is how you know when it's live. They're doing that thing over there. Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, don't worry. I'm not going to keep you much longer, kiddo, because I know what it is. Don't you worry. So, what assumptions do people make about ICDb that is going to be completely flat wrong? Any assumptions that they may make?
The biggest one is just that it already exists, or that the main one is just that either A, there's already things out there that are the same, or so similar that this doesn't differentiate at all. And
you say lies.
That's not true at all. Yeah, like there's League of Comic Geeks, which allows you to sort of see what's coming out in the published comic industry, but that's really targeting readers, and it's all pulling data that's like comes from the internet or like the previous catalogs. There's nothing there for true indie creators. People that are self-publishing comics are not on League of Comic Geeks, and there's no way collaboration or like knowing you can edit your profile on there, but like once again, it's only for established titles that like they pull from the catalogs. This is truly like it's creator owned and operated and for creators to basically they're the ones uploading all the data for what they want. And it's kind of like Wikipedia in the sense that not like anybody can just edit your profile, but people you designate as collaborators on a project, you sort of like become, it makes it easy for like the web to grow. So it's like social media in that sense, to where when you create a profile and you add collaborators to either a current project or a past project, you're then sort of connected to their greater group of people, which gives more weight to sort of everything that you're doing. It doesn't make it to where like everyone's equally searchable. But at least when it comes to credibility, that's kind of how we associate people's credibility is who have you worked with in the past? And even if you're an independent comic creator, there's nothing out there that exists that makes it to where you can like showcase that without by like yourself by basically adding that information in there. Rather as opposed to like the database sites that just pull from the internet and try to fill it in that way.
All right, so let's talk about this, the 5-year vision. Like, what do you want ICDb to be like in 5 years? And now let's dream big over here, because like a manifestation. Words have power, Max. Come on.
For sure. I have envisioned in layers of almost like year by year of just capturing a portion of this market, of the comic book greater market, global market. And it's kind of like, if I can at least get the indie people this year, along with the I forget how you said Diamond did the hierarchy, but sort of like the lowest and mid-tier publishers attached.
I'll tell you again, it's big two, Marvel, DC, and then you have the Premier, which would be Boom, Dynamite, Dark Horse, Image, IDW, Titan, and then you had the Deluxe, which were who is that? Deluxe, Ablaze, Aftershock, Massive, Zenoscope, Archie, Distillery, and then the rest were indie.
Yeah, if I can essentially work my way up that ladder to where eventually in 5 years, I've got everyone in Marvel and DC, along with every other creator and executive and everyone involved in the supply chain, all on ICDb, just like everybody in the film industry is on IMDb. That's the goal. Is like becomes the main hub and like tool for everyone to basically find, research, collaborate, and then ultimately a marketplace for IP. to where even not just comic creators, but film producers and everybody gets on there to basically figure out who's trending, what's for sale, like, and that's what it all is. It's all like this whole industry and everything is like investing in people and investing in intellectual property. As far as like when you're collaborating with somebody, you're basically investing your time and or money in that person for years to hopefully like grow with them. And that their growth then, because you're attached to them, helps you. And then it's the same with the people that are buying your books at the sort of wholesale behind the scenes level, not the end reader, but the people that then get your book in front of readers. Yes. How are they determining the value of your stuff and things like that? Like, that's what that people also get confused, is that like there's plenty of stuff out there that exists for sort of everything that happens on the promotional and marketing end and sort of actual digital distribution and things like that. We're not anything like that. This isn't for readers, or it's not a reader app. And it's also, it's like the pre-production and production app. And then once you have something completed, letting someone else take over, and you like have a series of options of how you want to do that. Do you want to self-publish? And, do you want to, submit it to a publisher? And if you do, which one? Like, will you first have to figure out what is it? What kind of product do you have? Do you have a one-shot comic? Do you have an ongoing series? How far along are you? Who all is involved? And we streamline it to where it's just like, you then just whoever's on the back end, they can see all that information in like an easy pitch.
Wonderful. I love it. Now let's get into this nerdy side, before we go over here, right? Because why is it important to launch this as both a platform and an app?
I don't have a good answer for that. I think that app is sort of a word that people now is almost more in the zeitgeist of their vocabulary than the word platform. Like, even though we know platform, they don't necessarily associate it with like what this is. Like, because website has a sort of generalized meaning. An app has a very specific thing when people think about, like, it's an app with a specific application. And so, the wording is still, there's no specific importance to like, why did I choose that? And why did I choose .app and stuff like that? There's a lot of different factors and the big one is like ICDb.com. It was very expensive. So it was like, I have to figure out the
crazy right now. .coms are crazy trying to get those, but definitely, thank God we have all those new different, ending domains, if you will, so that we have those chances to buy whatever brand. But the .com don't look like I didn't know a lot of my .com early, and I just keep them. Not that we're gonna have a .com boom like we had back in the day.
I still own a lot of .coms, but that I'm still figuring out how to use or grow.
Oh, me too.
I bought a long time ago. I bought TrumpisMyDad.com like 20 years ago, and I never capitalized on it, but I should. I like every once in a while.
Right now. Oh, folks, Max needs to fund the app right now. Any marketers out there, that are interested in that type of platform, hit them up. How much you want? 250,000, 400,000? How much?
You give me the offer and I'll let you know.
There we go. That's a big one right there, yo. That's a big one. I'll tell what it is. You better hit up my man Max. You know where you can hit him up? Check it out. You can hit him up on X, Facebook, and Instagram at Lord Max Hoven, or on YouTube. Check out Indie Comic Empire. But most importantly, the topic today was ICDb. So check out ICDb.app. It's everything in the show notes. Make it easy for you. I need you guys to check this out. And of course, you want to see his creative side. So check out hovencrow.com, and check out all his wonderful creations and whatnot. Now, before we go, Max, any appearances that where we can shake your hand, and talk in person about your creations and and app?
I can't say definitively on any of the big ones, but if basically, much like whenever I met you in person, if another person gets accepted to C2E2, I'll be C2E2 this year. If that person gets denied, I probably won't. I might show up not as an exhibitor, because I believe that's in April or May or something like that. It depends on kind of what else I've going on, but possibly.
Actually, it's in March for C2E2.
Oh, it's early. Dang it. Okay, I might be able to make it.
March for C2E2. Toy Fair is next month. I mean, the cons are starting. I started getting information for MegaCon in Florida, and New York is already set for October. Rhode Island is set for November. San Diego set for July. So yeah, man, things is going on.
Yeah, I'll try to make as many as I can, but nothing's set in stone. If anybody's in St. Louis, I hit up almost all the big ones in St. Louis. The St. Louis Anime Convention, and I can't remember all the names. We have a lot around here that are sort of a different. They all have kind of unusual names. It's like NerdCon or whatever. And they all sound so similar. I can't remember which specific, but there's like Slice, St. Louis Independent Comics Expo, and things like that.
Slice sounds like a hard con.
No, that's what it should be. Yeah, I definitely.
With a name like Slice, is like, what do you mean Slice? If I don't buy your book, I'm gonna be cut. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But nope. It's just indie comic creators.
I think it's Slice where indie creators get gangster.
Maybe I'll rebrand them.
I'm just kidding. All right? It'll be fun. You know what I mean? So, folks, this is what it is. You heard from my familia. This right here. This is how industries actually evolve. You heard? Not by waiting for permission, but by building the tools that we need. Now, if you're a creator, if you're a publisher, or just someone who loves this medium and wants to see it thrive, I need you to go check out ICDb.app. That's right. That's APP. You heard? Right now, sign up, explore it, and be a part of shaping the future instead of watching it from the sidelines. You heard? So support platforms to support creators, support systems that respect the work. And as always, keep creating, keep pushing, and keep crusading. Thank you, Max. You rock. Mega, Mr. Hoven. Hasta la próxima. Wepa! Thank you for listening to the Comic Crusaders Podcast. If you like the content, please subscribe and turn on notifications. Also, please visit comiccrusaders.com and our extended podcast family over at undercovercapes.com. And also, make sure to download the Comic Crusaders app on the Google Play Store today.